Yo, what is good people, and welcome to a video that was requested by a lot of you. If you like to watch some beatmaking content with educational values in it, I highly recommend to subscribe to the channel right now with all the notifications so you won't miss any of the new upcoming videos. You can always unsubscribe, opt out if you don't like the content, but at least I will be able to reach you. And if you'd like to see what's going on besides this YouTube channel, you can also drop a follow on Instagram. But I'm really glad that some of you aren't here just for the Reaper content. The sad truth is, the only videos that blew up on my channel are about making beats in Reaper, so here is another one. And in this video, I will show you how to make a trap beat in Reaper from scratch. As you can see, this video has like an FL Studio in the title. That's because I've prepared a beatmaking template for Reaper, especially for you, so you don't have to set everything up. You just need to open the template, which I will do in a few seconds, and start creating beats. I'm reading all of your comments, guys, and I just noticed that for some of you, the number of features in Reaper is just way too overwhelming, and you just want to create music. And I have to be honest, Reaper is not the best software as far as user friendliness is concerned. So my mission was to make it a lot more user friendly, so you can just open the template and, you know, let your creativity flow. The link for the template is in the description of this video. By the way, Arturia V Collection 8, all of the instruments from Arturia, which are usually 600 euros, are now discounted on Plugin Boutique, so you can get them for half the price. There are also some other nice deals you can use on the website. And if you want to support the channel without any extra cost to you, you can use my affiliate link in the description or in the pinned comment down below. And one more thing, until 11th of November, you can win Softtube Console 1 and Softtube Fader, which are great mixing consoles, as well as their plugins from the Volume 5. The only thing you have to do is just simply enter here. Okay, back to Reaper. So as you download the template, you will have the Reaper beatmaking template by Wodzu Beats folder. I've included two other folders in here. The first folder is samples, which contains the basic samples that are used in the template, and the template folder with the template. The first thing you have to do is just open the template project. As it's opening up, you will see replace missing file window. That's because you need to show Reaper where the samples are, because the directory on my PC is going to be different on yours or your Mac, and Reaper just needs to know the correct directory. Make sure this window is checked. On successful search, auto search for other missing files. Click search, find the Reaper beatmaking template by Wodzu Beats folder, and just click it. Then hit OK. And here you go. As you can see, I'm using a different theme in Reaper because, for those of you who don't know, Reaper has themes and you can change the way it looks like. The theme I'm using is called iLogic and it was made by Blank Files. The theme is not free. You have to donate to Blank Files to get the theme. But as far as I know, he's working without an internet connection during his working days. So if you donated to Blank Files and you haven't received the theme in like 2 days, just hit me up with the screenshot of your donation from your PayPal account and I will send you the theme. Before we start making a beat, you need to save the template so you have it on your computer and you don't need to launch the project every time. For this purpose, go to File, Project Templates down here and Save Project as a template. I will name this template I am making a beat. Hit enter, and here you go. Now, as I close Reaper and I launch it again, I can go to File, Project Templates, and click I am making a beat. And here it goes. The template is loaded up, and you can start making beats every time you open Reaper. You've got a blank template without anything. Let's start from the bottom, which is the 808. Just hit the effects button, which shows you the signal chain and its plugins. And as you can see, I've already loaded Resamplomatic 5000, which is a basic sampler built into Reaper. And it already has an 808 sample loaded in. It's already tuned up, so the only thing you have to do is to start playing. For this purpose, arm this track for recording. And by default, I've set it up to all MIDI inputs, so this means all your MIDI controllers, if you have any, will work with this track, with any track in this project, basically. So right now, as I press this controller, it works, and if I press this controller, it also works. If you don't have a MIDI controller, don't worry, I'll show you how to use the MIDI editor in just a minute. In case you wanted to change the 808 sample, I've included. The only knob that is interesting to you is pitch at start. Just simply change the 808 sample by hitting browse and pick some other sample you have on your computer and tune it up with this pitch at start knob. For this purpose, I've also included Retune, which is a basic Reaper's tuner. Click it 2 times so it's in a separate window. Turn it on by checking this checkbox here. And now as you will play the 808, you can tune it to whatever sound you like, because some of the 808 samples aren't on A, like this sample right here. They can be on C, on D, on whatever note. And the second thing you need to know about Resamplomatic, if you want to make the 808 glide, so you have this cool slides, just simply use the portamento knob right here. Let's set it to like 20 seconds or something. And now as I play one sound and then some other sound, I have this slide. The next thing is the drum bus, which contains all of the drum tracks: kick, clap, snare, hats, additional crash, and of course the main crash. These tracks from kick to hats have Resamplomatic 5000 loaded in with some basic drum samples. So the only thing you have to do to start playing or recording the drums is hit record arm and you are good to go. I've also included some basic EQ settings for all of the drums, which you can change. The main crash and additional crash track just have the EQs with some high-pass filter, because I mostly place the samples without the sampler on those tracks. I will show it later in the video as we'll be making the beat. Here is the instrument bus, which has 3 tracks. They have nothing on them, they are empty, because if you've used Reaper at least 1 or 2 times, you probably know that it doesn't have any VST instruments. But don't worry, there are loads of VST instruments which you can get for free on the internet. I will make a few recommendations later, as well as I will recommend you a few really cheap plugins that are really powerful. Here are the delay sends with second notes, quarter notes, and eighth notes. Each of those tracks have re-delay on them, which is already set to the correct note. And the last bus is reverb sends with 4 different reverbs I've prepared. Each of them is made in reverb, so you don't need any extra additional plugins from outside Reaper. All of the plugins used in this template are Reaper stock plugins. Let's begin the beat making process. First of all, make sure you have the loop feature turned on, because as we are making beats, we are working on patterns, on loops, which are usually like 4 bars, 8 bars, 16 bars, etc. In this case, I will just select 8 bars on the ruler right here. And right now, as the beat will be playing, it will always start from the 0 position as it reaches the end. Let's make the tracks wider. I'm holding Control and I'm using the scroll, so they are a little bit bigger. Before we move to recording the patterns with the MIDI controller, I'll show you a simple way to write your MIDI patterns with just your mouse. So let's write the snare pattern first, since it will be the easiest one. Let's click on snare. Now go to Insert menu up here and hit New MIDI item. And right now in this selected area on the ruler here, we have a big pattern, which is 8 bars long. Double click it, and here is the Reaper's MIDI editor. The iLogic theme is really useful because it has this note features pulled out here, but don't worry, if you are using the default theme, you always have this menu right here, which is just smaller, but it's fully functional. So as you press any of these keys, they are playing the snare. So let's use second notes and let's write a pattern. To insert a note, just simply click 2 times. And it's here. It's really nice because in VST instruments, if you have some different sounds, you can always preview them before actually inserting them. So let's make a simple pattern here. If you want to change the note length, just go to the edge of any note and you can change it. And we have a snare pattern. Bang. Great. Again, if you want to change the note resolution and add, for example, an 8th note snare, just go here, pick 8th notes, or just use this bar right here if you have iLogic, and you can place some additional 8th note here, here, and here. And that's how you do it. Now we can close the MIDI editor. And from now, I will be recording the patterns on my MIDI controller because that's how I'm used to making my beats. I just wanted to show you that it's definitely possible to write your MIDI patterns with the Reaper's MIDI editor because some of you had some problems with it. I don't know how, but I just assume Reaper is not as clear as FL Studio is. Let's record a clap pattern. So let's arm this track for recording with this button right here. Right now, you should be able to use your controller. I can hear the clap. And before we hit record, we need a pre-roll. For this purpose, go to Options, Metronome Pre-roll Settings. Make sure the metronome is enabled. And in those settings, make sure you have count in before recording. Check this box here, and you are good to go. Right now, you won't be hearing the metronome because the software I'm using to capture the sound and video from my computer isn't picking up the metronome. That's how the routing in Reaper is done. But I can hear the metronome, and you also hear the metronome as you download the template, and you will do it yourself. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here it is. But now, as I've stopped recording by hitting space, you can see that we have some weird thing here. That's because we already started recording a second loop, so you can have a few different takes. If you mess the first take up, you can just wait and play the second take. But as we have the first take ready, just click it, press the right button on your mouse, and here is glue items. You can also make a shortcut for it, but I just click it here. And right now we have one MIDI item. Open it up by clicking it 2 times. And as you can see, here are all the notes. They are really short and they are off the grid. Now we need to quantize. For this purpose, select all of the notes by hitting Ctrl and A. Here is the quantize events window. Remember that you need to be on a correct note resolution. In this case, I'm on quarter notes, so we are good to go. All of the notes are quantized now. Just hit OK, and let's have a listen. Great, all of the notes are perfect. Now I'll record kick and hi-hats. I will quantize them, but I won't be explaining everything since you already know how to record patterns in Reaper. Quick quantization, this time 16th notes and hi-hats. Glue items, open up the MIDI editor, select all of the notes, 16th notes, quantize. And now we have a drum track for our beat. You can change the volume of each sound here. Now we want to insert some cymbals. But as I told you before, I'm inserting the cymbals as samples, not as MIDI notes. For this purpose, you need to open the Media Explorer, go to View, and here you can open Media Explorer. You can also do it by holding Ctrl, Alt, plus X, and that's what I'm going to do. Ctrl, Alt, and X. And here is the Media Explorer. By default, it can be floating like this, so it can be an independent window. It can also be at the bottom of Reaper. If it looks like this, if it's floating, just hit the right button of your mouse here, go to the bottom of the list, and here is Dock Media Explorer in Docker. And that way you can have it on the left, or you can take this small tab here. You can keep it at the bottom, on the right, or even at the top, but it looks really weird. So I keep it on the left as it's in FL Studio. I will use the samples I've provided in the template. So let's use the main crash. Here, as you click the samples, you can also preview them. You have a small player right here. And right now, just double click the sample and it's already inserted into the project. or just simply drag and drop it and it's in the project. You can place it wherever you like. So the main crash goes here, and also I will pick the additional crash and place it somewhere here. And now as we play the beat, we have the crashes. Let's repeat this symbol right here, so let's make it a little bit shorter. Control C, so it's copied. And right now, Control V, Control V, Control V, 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 V. And we have some extra symbols along with the snare drum. Yeah, yeah. You know, that's how it goes. Right now, let's write the 808 pattern. I won't be playing it, I will write it. So click 808. We can close the Media Explorer by holding Ctrl-Alt+X. Insert new MIDI item. And here we have our 808 MIDI item. And we can play the 808 here. What we can do to make the life easier, we can open the kick pattern, Ctrl+A, so we have all the notes selected, Ctrl+C, so they are copied. Close the kick MIDI editor, open the 808, make sure it's at the very beginning on the ruler, and Ctrl+V, and we have the kick notes inside the 808. And we can use them as our guide for writing the 808 pattern. Let's rise it up so it's on a C3. It's always better to write 808s on a higher note, since when you are on those lower notes like C2 or even C1, you can't really hear the correct note most of the times. Now the 808 sounds like this, so it's really short. We need to make those notes longer. You can do it by hand, manually, or you can be clever. Like one of my followers who showed me a really simple method to make it really easy. Just go to Actions here, Show Action List. Here on the action list, go to Section, select MIDI Editor, so we will be changing things in the MIDI Editor. And in this filter window right here, look for Set Note Ends to Start of Next Note, Legato. Then you have to add a shortcut here. Just click Add and make a shortcut. I've made it Ctrl+L as it's right now. Hit OK, and I already have a shortcut. Right now, as I go into MIDI editor, I open the 808. I select all of these notes right here by hitting Ctrl+A. Now I hit Ctrl+L, and the notes are joined. Except the last one. That's the only disadvantage of this method. But besides this, it works perfectly. And we have those long 808s. Here I will make a little change. Let's make a glide here. So I will make another note here. As you can see, those notes would normally play at the same time, but they are not doing this. That's because I've already set Resamplomatic to maximum number of voices to 1, so it can only play one note at the time. And as I showed you at the beginning of the video, let's use the portamento parameter here. Let's set it up to, like, I don't know, 20 something, and now the glide should be hearable. Yeah, it works. Okay, let's keep the 808 really simple. This video is not about making the best beat in the world. This video is about letting you know how to make beats in Reaper. Okay, and now we have a drum loop along with the 808. As I could hear, the limiter works really hard because here at the very top of the template you have the Pseudo master bus, which I've made. Use the Pseudo master track and its fader, its volume, to control the amount of audio, the amount of dB that goes straight onto the master track to the limiter. And that's way better, because right now the limiter isn't even working. So you can make it a little bit louder, so it only hits the top peaks. Okay, that's fine. It's -1 dB right now. Right now, let's add some instruments. Let's write a melody. Here is the first instrument track I've prepared. It's just named 1. Just click the effects button, insert. My basic instrument of choice is Expand 2 and Hybrid 3 from Air Music Technology. Those are really cheap plugins you can usually get under like $5 or so. So I don't really count them as paid plugins because they are so cheap. And Expand 2, as an example, is just a big sound bank. It has lots of samples built into the plugin. And Hybrid 3 is a synthesizer, so if you want to learn some synthesis, is definitely a great start. But if you don't like to learn synthesis, it also has loads of plugins, loads of cool sounds which you can use in your beat making. Let's stay with Expand. Let's go to vocals and female choir. Right now, as I will arm the track for recording, I can hear the choir. Or you can go to Insert, make a new MIDI item and write the choir on your own. Let's record the choir. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's glue the items. Let's quantize everything to 16th notes, let's say. Here is the note I played by accident, so I can hit delete and it's gone. And here is how the notes look like in the MIDI editor. As you can see here, you have those things, I don't know how do you call this in FL Studio, but they are same as in FL Studio, and you can change the velocity of each note by changing the values here. You can also do it on the notes themselves. So it also works on individual notes. Let's make this note longer, and that's everything. Let's go to the second track. Let's insert Hybrid from Air Music Technology here. Let's go to, I don't know, bells. This one sounds pretty fine. And let's record some bells. 1, 2, 3, 4. Glue the items, open the MIDI item, Ctrl A so you have all the notes selected, and hit Q. Bang. Ready. Right now, let's add one more pattern with Expand. Let's open it up. This time, let's use some kind of a lead. For example, I don't know, Storytell. How does it sound like? Okay, sounds fine. And this time, I'm not going to record the pattern. I'm just going to insert a new MIDI item and write the pattern manually. Let's use quarter notes. Let's copy those notes here. Let's paste them here. Okay. And that's how our beat looks like. We have the 808, kick, clap, snare, hats, crashes, and 3 instruments, some chords, some bells, and a lead. And here is how it sounds like. A really simple one, but I hope this video helped you start making beats in Reaper. I wanted to show you that it's easy, it doesn't require learning a ton of new features, and it's actually, at least after my configuration and my template, a little bit closer to FL Studio than you would have thought. If you found the video helpful, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel with all the notifications so you won't miss any of the new upcoming videos about Reaper, and not only about Reaper. My name is Dominik, you've been watching Wodzu Beats, and keep the good vibes alive!